Humanity's operating system, it's kind of incomplete, right? Today, we're going to figure out what it takes to actually finish the code. Let's get into it.
This quote really hits hard, doesn't it? Just think about that for a second. Every single great civilization, they mastered something truly incredible. Some, this deep, profound sense of meaning. Others, this fierce inner discipline. And yeah, some mastered raw, world-changing innovation. But here's the kicker. Nobody, and I mean nobody, has ever put it all together. Not Rome, not the great Eastern empires, not even the modern West. They were all powerful, sure, but they were also incomplete.
And look, this isn't just some dusty old history lesson. Nope. The rise of AI, it is forcing this question right in our faces, right now. The stakes have never, ever been higher. So what's it going to be? Are we finally going to become a complete civilization, or are we going to collapse just another fragmented one?
This question, this is the whole mission, right? It's what we're all about here. So if you're on board with this idea of building a more complete future, if this resonates with you, do us a huge favor. Join the mission, like, share, and subscribe to Project Human. It honestly makes a world of difference in getting this message out there.
Okay, so let's really dig into the core problem here, this history of imbalance. I love this subtitle, Why Civilizations Are Like Overdeveloped Bodybuilders. It's a perfect analogy, isn't it? We all admire a balanced person, someone who's wise but also capable, right? Compassionate but also courageous. And yet, when you look at history, our civilizations have been the exact opposite. They're like that guy at the gym who only ever does bicep curls. He's got one giant arm and the rest of him is just atrophied. And history shows us time and time again that this kind of imbalance, it always leads to a fall. So you might be thinking, okay, empires fall. What's new? What's so different this time? Well, one word, scale. Our technology, we're talking AI, synthetic biology, the whole shebang, it's woven the entire planet into this single, incredibly fragile system. In the past, when some lopsided empire collapsed, hey, the rest of the world moved on. But this time, there's nowhere to run. If we fail planet-wide. It takes everyone down with it.
All right, to really get a grip on this idea of balance, we need a good framework, a way to think about it. So let's break down the 4 human archetypes. Because look, if a single person needs these 4 things to be whole, it just makes sense that a whole society needs to have them too, right? These are the building blocks of a complete society.
Okay, here they are, the big 4. First up, you've got the mystic. This is all about awe, meaning, that connection to something bigger than ourselves. Then there's the monk. That's your inner game, discipline, emotional maturity, self-mastery. Next, the engineer, the problem solver, the innovator, the builder. And finally, the soldier. Courage, protection, taking responsibility. A truly complete civilization needs all 4 of these humming along in perfect harmony. Now this is where it gets really interesting, because we can actually use this framework to map out history. Let's start with the Abrahamic traditions. Think about it. Born from harsh deserts, endless tribal conflict, it makes sense they specialized in the soldier and the mystic. And this gave them incredible strengths, right? A deep sense of purpose, loyalty, moral clarity, duty. But every strength has a shadow, and the shadow here was a tendency towards absolutism, an our way or the highway mentality, and this relentless instinct to expand. Now let's hop over to the Dharmic and Eastern traditions. Totally different environment, right? Stable agricultural empires, a lot more time for deep introspection. So what do they specialize in? The monk and the mystic. And their strengths are just profound. Ego transcendence, peace, compassion, inner mastery. Wow. But again, there's that shadow side. And for them, it was often a kind of passivity, a vulnerability that left them open to more, let's say, aggressive powers.
And that, of course, brings us right up to the modern, secular West. We basically took the engineer and the soldier and put them on steroids. And the strengths? They're undeniable. We're talking explosive innovation, incredible infrastructure, a focus on productivity and individual rights. But the shadow is just as obvious, isn't it? A deep spiritual vacuum, a crisis of meaning, skyrocketing rates of loneliness and anxiety. You see the pattern? Each tradition specialized. None of them managed to integrate the whole stack.
And then, along comes AI. This is the moment where the entire game changes. Because AI isn't just another cool invention like the steam engine or the internet. No, this is different. This is a fundamental shift. Because AI is starting to automate power itself. And it's forcing us to stare our historical imbalances right in the eye.
You know, we get so caught up thinking about AI automating jobs, right? Is a robot going to take my job? But that's missing the forest for the trees. The real revolution here is that AI is automating the core functions of what makes a society tick. It's automating persuasion through the algorithms that run our lives. It's automating strategy in business, in warfare. It's automating governance. It's even getting into our heads and automating how we form our own identities. This is huge. It gives any ideology the power of a religion and any little tribe the power of an empire.
And this right here, this is the whole point. The true challenge of AI is not a tech problem. It's a human maturity problem. The question isn't, can we build smarter machines? Of course we can. The real question is, can we become psychologically, spiritually, and ethically capable of using this insane amount of power responsibly? You see? AI doesn't demand better code, it demands better humans.
So okay, if the problem is us, how do we become better? How do we level up? Well, this brings us to the solution. A new blueprint for civilization, one that's actually designed for integration in adulthood. Let's call it the dual-stack civilization.
The idea is actually pretty simple, but it's also incredibly profound. Think of it as two stacks, two pillars. On one side, you've got the inner stack. That's the mystic and the monk, working together. This is where we get our meaning, our wisdom, our maturity. This is the stuff that prevents us from collapsing from the inside. Then on the other side, you have the outer stack. That's your engineer and your soldier. This is our engine for innovation, security, and just flat-out competence. This is what stops us from collapsing from the outside.
And this is why you absolutely have to have both. It's not optional. Look what happens when you don't. Without that inner stack of wisdom, power becomes tyranny. Strength turns into cruelty. Innovation becomes cold and dehumanizing. You basically get a technocracy with no soul. But what about without the outer stack? Well, then wisdom becomes totally irrelevant. Compassion becomes a weakness. And peace? Peace is just a fragile dream waiting for someone stronger to come along and shatter it. This isn't about some fluffy utopia. This is just about growing up as a species.
And this is what it looks like. You have to build two stacks at the same time. The inner stack, that's the monk and the mystic. It's all about self-mastery, meaning and wisdom. And then you have the outer stack, the engineer and the soldier. That's about world mastery, capability and power. A complete civilization doesn't choose. It integrates. It masters itself, and it masters the world.
And just think about what that kind of world could look like. You get meaning, but without the fanaticism. You get power, but without oppression. You get incredible innovation that actually serves people instead of dehumanizing them. And you get inner peace that leads to wise action, not just checking out from the world.
And let's be clear, this isn't about creating some new religion or going back to the past. It's about an upgrade. We need a new civilizational operating system, a version 2.0, designed for the world we actually live in now.
So what it all boils down to is a choice. This isn't just going to happen on its own. It's a choice we have to consciously make as individuals and as a whole species. The future isn't something that happens to us. It's something we have to build.
The era of running on that buggy beta software, it's ending. One way or another, it's closing. The real question is, what comes next? Do we crash the system? Or do we finally step into the age of integrated humanity?
You know, maybe this is the right way to look at everything that's happening right now. Maybe AI didn't show up to replace us. Maybe it showed up to force us, finally, to complete the human code, to become the balanced, whole civilization we were always supposed to be. What do you think? If this explainer opened up a new way of thinking for you, help us spread the idea. Like, share, and subscribe to the Project Human channel. Let's start the upgrade, together.